Welcome to Live, life-inspired views for every day. My name is Chris Meyer, and I'm a curious soul. I have talked about my journals over the last year of podcasts, but did I ever tell you about what I call the journal game? I think so, but it bears repeating. It's a game I have played with my students or groups of people over the years, and in it I usually let someone choose a number between 1 and the last page that I have written on so far in my current journal. Then I read what is on that chosen page, and nearly always an interesting conversation ensues. This week I decided to play the journal game so that the journal could host the topic for this podcast. I asked my husband Donnie to pick a number between 1 and 222. He chose number 187. It was perfect for what we feel today with all the countries at war around the world, the tension within our own country, the mass shootings that seem to be taking place every day, and the woes and worries around us. On page 187, I had drawn 3 pictures to go with the 3 quotes: a long bridge, a shiny light bulb, and a globe. The bridge reflects the quote I had written there by Maya Angelou, who said, "Continue to be who and how you are to astonish a mean world with your acts of kindness." Just think of that as a mantra or mission statement of life. What if every morning we would look in our bathroom mirror and say, "Today I will continue to be me, and in all I do, try to astonish this mean world with acts of kindness"? What kind of energy would come from within us to affect our day, who we meet, and what we do? What would it look like if you tried to do it for one day? What would you sound like? What would you feel like at the end of the day after trying to astonish those in your day with kindness, after resisting complaining about the driver in front of you, the slowness of the clerk, a mistake someone made on your order, or having to clean up after someone in your family, or just being cynical? What would it be like if our goal was to astonish others with our kindness? I drew the shining light bulb next to a quote by Jonas Salk, who discovered the polio vaccine. And the quote says, "Hope lies in dreams, in imagination, and the courage of those who dare to turn dreams into reality." This quote reminded me of the time that I was at Mayo's St. Mary's Hospital in Rochester. I read how the nun, Sister Elfred, started a school in Rochester, Minnesota. After the deadly tornado of 1883, much of Rochester was devastated and claimed many lives. Well, Sister Elfred reached out to the local doctor, William Mayo, to start a hospital. Well, he didn't think there would be enough patients after they recovered from the tornado to keep the hospital running. But Sister Alfred persisted and asked if she and the other nuns would raise the money to build the hospital, would he run it? He agreed. And 4 years later, after the sisters raised all the money needed by teaching music lessons, knitting, tatting, and crocheting, the Sisters of St. Francis presented Dr. Mayo with the hospital that is St. Mary's Hospital today, and spawned the mammoth hospital system, which is the Mayo Hospital and clinics that we know. Sister Alfred and her comrades, with courage, dared to turn dreams into reality. Do you have an idea that if you dared greatly and with courage in your heart, may become something meaningful, big or small, to help this world in some way? Lying next to the 3rd quote on page 187 is a picture of the world with a simple sentence: "Peace is the soil where hope takes root." Peace as soil. Not much of that around here today, is there? Or is there? As I mentioned earlier, it is hard not to fill our minds with worry and foreboding today. But perhaps the soil of peace need not be equated with countries, states, families, or friendships. Maybe the soil of peace is within us. That is where peace begins, and we fertilize it with our choices. Last week, I listened to Shankar Vedantam, who hosts the podcast Hidden Brain. He talked about how less is often more. He cited several examples, but the one that I noted especially was the benefit of cutting down on how much news we listen to or watch. Perhaps, he said, just read the newspaper once a day. He went on to say that those who cut down on the number of news feeds they follow on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, etc., were much less anxious and depressed. Perhaps the quote is true. We can nurture the growth of hope by choosing to focus on peace within, even when we cannot control the lack of peace around us. That was page 187 in my journal. Look what comes when we think about a quote and connect it to some things that we have learned or heard throughout our lives. Thinking makes us deepen. This week, on your bathroom mirror, write, astonish with kindness, dare to be courageous, and choose peace. Join me next Monday for Live, Life-Inspired Views for Every Day. I'm Chris Meyer, and I'm a curious soul.